President, university faculty, fellow students, honored guests, and the 2,000 people who probably still don't know what valediction is, but really, really want a picture with Mr. Colbert. Good morning. My name is E.P. Stonehill, and I'd like to welcome you to graduation weekend. We're gathered here on the lawn. Oh, shoot. I didn't have a rain plan speech, so we're just gonna go with that. We're gathered not here on the lawn, as Thomas Jefferson did not intend, to celebrate our accomplishments, listen intently for snippets of wisdom, or, if you're like my mother, to frantically reach for the tissues as soon as the phrase, "It's time to move on," is uttered. It's okay, Mom. I came prepared. On this lawn, or maybe in this arena, we've ambled, photobombed, and chased aggressive squirrels away from our bodos. We've picnicked, participated in awkward orientation icebreakers, and walked hand in hand. But most importantly, we've struck. Maybe it's been a chord, a balance, or a pot of gold, but we've struck indeed. I know I've struck. For me, though, it was good, old-fashioned, running naked in the middle of Thomas Jefferson's UNESCO World Heritage Site, Academical Village. But this is all hypothetical, of course, President Sullivan and my father, totally for the sake of a metaphor. So on to the metaphor. The UVA college experience as a streaking of the lawn. We start the run going full speed ahead with shouts of freedom and bursts of first-year energy. The lawn is ours, and there's no homer, hometown, or homework in sight. With this freedom, though, comes getting used to being in your own skin, literally. It's wondering how someone seems to know the way so well already when your eyes are just adjusting to the light. But you surge ahead, excited and anxious to find your path. Around Pavilion 5, this initial excitement begins to wane. Others are still sprinting, but you begin to wonder whether you really should have left your clothes behind, or whether you actually know the person bumbling along next to you. It's second year. The downhill can catch you by surprise, but it inevitably comes along whether you're ready or not. You might have major issues, and I'm talking saran wrap here, or minor stumbles. Am I really this out of shape? You might start to think as your body has already taken a relentless year of Nukem. But then, in a different form of enlightenment than Jefferson ever meant for his academical village, you could be spotlighted. Chosen from the crowd by a crowd, a moment of awareness and clarity where things just might begin to click. Second year, though, you still feel like you're just running along. You enjoy it. It can just get a little bit blinding from time to time. So now you're circling around Homer, thankful for a landmark and halfway point. Third year. You finally know what you're doing, but now you're getting tired. You've been running for a while, and it seems like only uphill exists between you and the end. The dreaded, "It is now midnight and Clemens Library will be closed to the general public" announcement. The applications to the same Deloitte internship everyone wants, and the tough questions without ready answers. The uphill. The people streaking the way before you are all zipped up and on their way, and it's just you. But wait, look around. These running blurs are best buds, roommates, friendly faces, and maybe even a TA. You're not alone now as you enter the final stretch. Fourth year. You're running at a steady pace, and you realize you like this freedom thing after all. You've just hit your runner's high, but there's only so much more space ahead. You try to slow your steps as much as you possibly can, but you know you can't just loiter around the lawn forever, and especially in your current state. You're ready for a change, for a break, or for some late night Little Johns. Or maybe you just want to go home. What if there are no clothes waiting for you where you left them? Or worse yet, what if there's a stiff suit and tie waiting where your wahoo-wah, or washboard, shirt was before? But still, there's one final step to complete the tradition. You look into the keyhole ahead and try to lock yourself in the moment. There, coming to a stop, you peer at the statue of Thomas Jefferson and simply say, "Good night." And that's where we are now, having to say goodnight for the last few times, not just to Mr. Jefferson, but to these grounds and to the people who have made these grounds into something so much more than a pretentious word for campus. We finally have to suit up, whatever that suit might be. The thing about saying goodnight, though, is that it always cycles once more to good morning. Thank you and congratulations, class of 2013.
Good morning, everyone. My name's Jenna Dagenhart, and I'm here to present to you today the Seven Society Awards. At valediction, each year, the Seven Society presents two unique awards, the Louis A. Honesty Memorial Scholar Athlete Award and the James Earl Sargent Award, which are given annually to an outstanding student athlete and a student organization that make major contributions to the university community. This year, the Louis A. Honesty Memorial Scholar Athlete Award recipient is Jarmir Antonio Jenkins. An anthropology major in the College of Arts and Sciences, Jarmir played on the men's varsity tennis team all 4 years and was recently named U.V.A.'s top male athlete for the 2013 academic year. As the winner, please hold applause until the end because there are many great achievements. As the winner of the 2013 ITA Indoor Singles Championship, he achieved a #1 NCAA singles and doubles ranking on April 16th. In 2008, he played in the finals of the U.S. Open Junior Doubles Championships and the Junior Orange Bowl Singles Championships. Then, in 2010, he made it to the finals of the USTA Futures Singles Championship in Rochester, New York. Jarmir served as captain of the men's tennis team for 2 years, while also helping lead other athletes through the Student Athlete Advisory Committee and the Student Athlete Mentor Program. In the words of UVA men's tennis coach Brian Bolin, Jarmir's future accomplishments off the tennis court will definitely outweigh his achievements on the court. And this will be credited to the character, integrity, and unselfishness that he represents as a tennis player and as a human being. Next year, Jarmir will continue the inspiring journey playing professional tennis. For his many academic and athletic achievements and contributions to this university, I'm honored to present the Louis A. Honesty Memorial Scholar Athlete Award to Jarmir Jenkins. Jarmir is currently in Chicago representing UVA at the NCAA tournament, but here with us today is his good friend, Gordon Burris, accepting the award on his behalf. Mr. Burris, will you please come forward? Next, I will present the James Earl Sargent Award. Once again, please hold all applause until the end. Mr. Colbert. The James Earl Sargent Award this year goes to the Memorial for the Enslaved Laborers Committee, or MEL for short. Initiated by the Diversity Initiatives Committee of Student Council and launched in the fall of 2009, the movement is growing rapidly. MEL has already developed a close partnership with U.Care, unanimously passed a student council resolution affirming the timelessness and necessity of the project, and formed an advisory committee consisting of expert faculty, staff, and community members. Raising awareness for the need to establish a more adequate memorial to the University of Virginia's enslaved laborers, the committee organized an educational forum on the intricacies of race relations in the university's history, with a special focus on slavery. It then distributed a university-wide survey to measure community knowledge of the history. The survey returned more than 900 responses. Lastly, the movement has organized focus groups on and off grounds to get community feedback on the need for a memorial, the form it should take, and its effect on our community. Accepting the award on behalf of the Memorial for the Enslaved Laborers Committee is the incoming chair, Edna Turry. And a little bit of background on Edna. Edna organized the design competition for the potential location and structure of the memorial, in addition to planning community-wide events to bring attention to the cause. Most recently, Edna collaborated with the University Guide Service, who agreed to donate the proceeds of their annual colonnade ball to the memorial. She also met with President Sullivan and her vice presidents to discuss the future of the initiative. Edna, please come forward to receive the James Earl Sargent Award presented to the Memorial for the Enslaved Laborers Committee. You're good.
Each year, the trustees of the graduating class bestow 3 awards upon graduating students who have contributed significantly to the university: the Award for Community Service, the Award for Cultural Fluency, and this year, the Award for the Spirit of Ingenuity. Since 1993, the trustees of the graduating class have recognized one graduating student who has made service central to his or her life through a commitment to bettering the lives of others and inspiring peers to do the same. This year, we are honored to present the Award for Community Service to Amelia Nemitz. As president of the organization Sexual Assault Peer Advocacy, also known as SAPA, this talented young woman dedicated her time and passion to creating a safer community at UVA. She led many self-defense classes and actively worked with Dina Ramo and Claire Kaplan of the UVA Women's Center to educate the greater UVA community on the sexual misconduct policy and the resources available to survivors. She participated in and led various working meetings to improve the sexual misconduct policy and encourage open dialogue at the university. Recently, she helped organize and spread the word about a public dialogue event, What is a Community of Trust, a public conversation about gender violence at UVA. The event was so full that members of the media and many students had to stand, and so popular that students talked about it for weeks. She has also served on the Take Back the Night steering committee. In her final acts as SAPA president, she led a merger of SAPA and the organization Sexual Assaults, Facts and Education, also known as SAFE, to create a new organization, One Less, which will continue to educate the university about sexual assault and provide advocacy assistance to survivors. With all these involvements, it is quite clear that Amelia devoted herself into making the issues of gender violence a thing of the past and the community a better, safer place for all. Amelia will become a double who this upcoming year as she plans to attend UVA Law School. Amelia Nemitz, we commend you on your service to the university and the Charlottesville community. Will you please come forward to accept the award? Since 1996, the trustees of the graduating class have recognized one graduating student who has demonstrated an understanding of and an appreciation for cultural and intellectual diversity during their time at the university. This year, the award goes to Hallie Clark. Hallie defines what it means to embrace and promote diversity and cultural fluency at UVA. Throughout her 4 years here at UVA, Hallie has built bridges across groups in the student body with unparalleled determination. Hallie served as the chair of Minority Squared, a group that seeks to provide resources and a safe space to LGBTQ people of color. She has also served as one of 3 senior peer advisors in the Office of African American Affairs, mentoring and advising first and transfer African American students to ease their transition to the university. Moreover, she spent nearly 4 months planning Solidarity Day, a project for the university's Martin Luther King Jr. celebration, which incorporated groups such as Black Student Alliance, Asian Student Union, and the Latino Student Alliance. And Hallie has not only worked for the students, but also for employees by working to raising employee wages. For all her activism, it's only appropriate that next year, Hallie will be an Emerson National Fellow at the Congressional Hunger Center in Washington, D.C. The fellowship gives her a chance to address food access and poverty through an anti-racism framework. Hallie, we have admired your ability to speak for others in the face of great adversity and your ability to bring light to issues facing our community. We admire that you will continue to work on behalf of those who often go unspoken for. It's only appropriate for these reasons the award for cultural fluency would go to Hallie Clark. Will you please come forward to accept your award? Every year, the trustees of the graduating class have had the ability to create an award to represent a core value that characterizes the class. This year, the award for Spirit of Ingenuity was established with the intent of recognizing a graduating student who has creatively used their skills to tangibly better the university experience for others. This year's award goes to Andrew Nell. In a short amount of time, Andrew has gone from sports photographer for the Cavalier Daily to the photographic documenter of UVA's social scene, whether it's taking pictures at basketball games, philanthropic Greek events, or a night out on the corner. Andrew always shares his photos with the student body through online platforms like Facebook and his website. Andrew has been in high demand throughout the entire year for the quality of his work. Andrew uses his creativity and talent in photography to bring the students of varying groups together, helping to preserve memories and moments that are easily lost. He even helped organize the U.Va Harlem Shake video, which brought together students from all years, as well as faculty member Dean Groves, and has gotten over 300,000 views. His ability to weave together a story through photography is well known all throughout the student body. Andrew clearly cares about the university and has consistently shown efforts to bringing the class together. Andrew will be in Washington, D.C. next year as a consultant for Booz Allen Hamilton. He hopes to continue his passion in photography around the D.C. area as well. Andrew, we admire your creative photography and ability to bring the UVA community closer together. Will you please come up to accept your award?
Good morning. I am Lee Kopic. I'm an economics professor here at the University of Virginia, and I'm going to present today the Gordon F. Rainey Jr. Award for Vigilance to the Student Experience. I'm presenting on behalf of the Society of the Purple Shadows because they are a secret society. To the graduating class of 2013, the Society of the Purple Shadows expresses its most sincere congratulations. From this day onwards, the words of James Hay Jr. will hold special meaning. You may say in reverence and thankfulness, I have worn the honors of honor. I have graduated from Virginia. The Society was founded to recognize those individuals who selflessly contribute to the university's betterment, to advocate vigorously for those institutions that make the student experience so uniquely meaningful, and to comfort those individuals who experience hardship. It is in this spirit that the Society presents the Gordon F. Rainey Jr. Award for Vigilance to the Student Experience. Hallmarks of the award include deep contributions to the unique institutions which define the student experience, including the honor system, student self-governance, the arts, and the Greek system. With great pride, the Society announces this year's recipient, Mr. Kenneth Elzinga. Mr. Elzinga is the Robert C. Taylor Professor of Economics and recipient of the Thomas Jefferson Award. He has proven to be one of the most successful and beloved educators at the university. In the entire history of our storied institution, no other professor has taught as many students as Mr. Elzinga, a feat made more impressive by the passion he brings to each and every class. No matter if his audience is 500 or just 15, a staunch advocate of undergraduate research, Mr. Elzinga enables many students to pursue their intellectual goals through his Marshall Jevons Fund for undergraduate research. In addition, his support for the community of trust, as achieved through the student-run honor system, has helped bring ethical resolve to both students and faculty at the University of Virginia. And his remarkable support of the student body during the events of last summer genuinely demonstrated his role as advocate and leader for undergraduate and graduates alike. Truly, he has made an indelible mark on the student body over his 46 years as an educator. Still, Mr. Elzinga's greatest influences have been felt outside of the classroom. He has provided sound and caring advice to all who seek his wisdom, humbly opened his home to students each Thanksgiving, and he and his wife, Terry, lived outside or lived out the expectations of pavilion residents during their time in the academical village. Never one to hide his beliefs, Mr. Elzinga actively lives out his Christian faith and is an incredible advocate for student Christian groups on grounds. Simply put, Mr. Elzinga has lived out the values and ideals that he knows are important, and by doing so has uniquely contributed to fostering the intellectual and moral growth of the student body. After selflessly washing his disciples' feet, Jesus stated in John 13:7, "You do not realize now what I am doing, but later you will understand." Many may not have immediately understood the enduring impact that Mr. Elzinga makes through his selfless service, but by serving his students, he has truly made their experience a meaningful one. Verily, he merits our utmost esteem, and it is with great pride that the Society presents the Gordon F. Rainey Jr. Award for Vigilance to the student experience to Mr. Kenneth Elzinga. For you, Mr. Elzinga, are one the university is proud to call her own.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is William Wilson, and I'm on the Arts and Sciences faculty here, and I'm with the Jefferson Scholars Foundation. Each year, the Algernon Sidney Sullivan Award Committee selects one man and one woman from the graduating class who best exemplify the highest qualities of Algernon Sidney Sullivan's life. The committee also selects an individual from the university community whose compassion, service, and influence is widely acknowledged and appreciated. All of the recipients of this award possess fine spiritual qualities practically applied in their daily living. They are often described as our unsung heroes. Our recipients are distinctly defined by their acts. Their deeds are not spent on their self-interest, but rather in the interest of community and humankind. They represent our highest ideals and our greatest hopes. Please hold your applause until the end when I call them forward. Our female Algernon Sidney Sullivan Award winner was a participant in a group of students that took first place in the category of translational and applied research during the University of Virginia's Presidential Research Poster Competition. The winning poster topic was bridging stakeholders in community development, and that is apropos because Cameron Lynn Genda lives her life with the unspoken goal of bridging communities. Indeed, she doesn't just bridge communities, she quietly acts to build, to strengthen, and to extend the reach of community and to mentor its members. Cammie's realistic faith in the goodness of others, her drive to engage the world thoughtfully, her sincere thankfulness for others' good works, and her compassion make it fitting that she be honored in this way. Cammie's involvement has been broad. Among her many activities, she has served as president of the Society of Women Engineers and helped extend mentoring programs between U.Va. and the local community. She was an orientation leader where her engagement prompted several new students to cite her as the embodiment of all good qualities that they have come to associate with U.Va. This is the work that Cammie does behind the scenes that is not recognized or applauded. But that serves undoubtedly to make the university a far better and more welcoming place. The grace with which Cammie builds the qualities of mutual love, helpfulness, and nobility into the bedrock of her interaction with others makes her this year's Algernon Sidney Sullivan Award recipient. Our male recipient is Matthew Thomas Snyder. The poet Dante defined grace to be simply going to the aid of another unasked. Matt has performed such simple but utterly heroic deeds throughout his college years, and these actions are strengthened by extraordinary successes. Triumphs not meant to stand alone, but to test and to fortify his moral commitments. Matt is an A student headed for medical school. He is a varsity wrestler who has been named ACC Wrestling Student Athlete of the Year, as well as ACC Champion Wrestler. But most of the time, he can be found with sick children in hospitals, the very sick, those who would have no reason to hope for a long life were it not for the hope that Matt inspires in them. He is with them nights and days on end, and should the youngster pass away, he then encourages and supports the family. The virtue that leads him to so selflessly give of his time is the very same one that leads him to avoid the spotlight. The only spotlight he seeks is the one aimed at his podium as official spokesperson for bone marrow transplantation registration, a forum he hosts very often. This profound regard for others is never off duty. The plodder, the lonely, the timid have his instant support. He is humble and unassuming as one could hope to find in a friend, a colleague, or a student, and above all is the bearer of the honor of the name Algernon Sidney Sullivan. The community recipient of the Algernon Sidney Sullivan Award this year is Dr. Richard Dale Pearson. Evidence abounds of Dr. Pearson's extraordinary impact on this university, and particularly on the School of Medicine. Over his 33-year career at the university, Dr. Pearson has shared his wealth of expertise with generations of medical students as an esteemed member of the faculty and as a beloved dean. While he has taught thousands of students, the hallmark of his time at the university and his greatest contributions have come through his supreme commitment and steadfast dedication to the well-being of his students. Students speak of his deep concern for them and the patients they will one day be serving. Many hold him up as the professional they hope they will someday become. Dr. Pearson's time at the university will certainly be remembered for his insistence on having each and every medical student to his home for supper, not to mention his countless recommendation letters. Dr. Pearson has been described by his students and colleagues, past and present, as, quote, a fantastic scientist, a fine, fine human being, and a person who is consistently rock solid with his integrity. They used words like comforting, challenging, responsive, and caring when describing his work. For this and much, much more, he is so aptly recognized as this year's community recipient of the Algernon Sidney Sullivan Award, and it is now my honor to call them forward for your applause. Very much.
We make a living by what we get, but we make a life by what we give. Good morning, class of 2013. I'm so glad everybody came out. Although we aren't on the line, we're still in a great space. We packed it up. I wanted to start out with this quote by Winston Churchill. No, not Thomas Jefferson. Because after spending so much time on this campaign this year, I truly believe that this quote captures what the 2013 class giving campaign really is about. My co-chair, and after this year, very, very good friend, Bo Swindell and I are about to do something that we have been waiting to do all year. We are here to present the 2013 class gift. As you've heard, Class Giving is a campaign to motivate, inspire, and educate our fourth-year class on the importance of giving back now and in the future. I want everyone that has made a gift or pledge this year to stand up. Stand up. Stand up. Look around you. Stay standing. Stay standing. Stay standing. Stay standing. Look around you. Look around you. Class of 2013, stay standing. Stand up. Stand up for a minute. Stand up for a minute. We beat the record. We have the highest participation from a fourth-year class with 68% of fourth-year students, just over 2,300 of our classmates making a class gift or pledge to U.Va. Let's give it up. Woo! You guys can sit down now. You can sit down now. On behalf of the University of Virginia, we want to say thank you.
Let's go over this year in review. Starting at our class welcome back dinner in the fall, we have received gifts of all sizes, each one critically important to the success of this university and overwhelmingly valued by every single entity that received monetary support. I hope that this tradition of giving back is something for which our class will be remembered and that we continue our record participation as alumni. I want to ask each of you to consider giving back to this wonderful place on a regular basis. Think back to your favorite professor and your favorite class. Remember sporting events you attended or played in, and the hundreds of CIOs and student organizations that not only shaped you, but shaped the community around you. Think of the numerous scholarships that enable countless opportunities at the university. Our gifts will continue to impact these things you reflected upon for years to come. President Sullivan, on behalf of the class of 2013, we are incredibly excited to present to you a check for $595,704. This is the second highest amount of money ever raised by a fourth-year class giving campaign. So thank you guys, and congratulations, we did it.
Wow. Thank you, Ms. Moore, Mr. Swindell, trustees, and members of the class of 2013. I'm very grateful for your generosity and for the many ways in which your gift will enhance the university. Trustees of the class of 2013 are continuing the one-year undesignated gift program adopted by the class of 1997. The class gift has become a tradition here. This program offers each student the opportunity to make a cash gift and to direct it to the areas of the university most meaningful to him or her. More than 300 programs have benefited from the generosity of this class. The giving is distributed broadly across the university. This year, the class gift will benefit a wide range of programs and institutions, including 7 schools: the College of Art and Sciences, Engineering, Commerce, Education, Architecture, Nursing, and the Batten School. The University Library, Access U.Va, the university's financial aid program, Madison House, the Office of African American Affairs, the Women's Center, the Fralin Museum of Art, 38 sorority and fraternity foundations, and more than 150 student organizations, the Virginia Athletics Foundation, and the Rotunda Renovation Project, which will bring much-needed repairs to the centerpiece of the university. This class gift will leave an enduring mark. It will strengthen us and will remind us of the generous spirit of the class of 2013. I'm very grateful. I hope that your interest in and support for these programs will continue through the years. Among the many events scheduled this weekend are the ROTC commissioning exercises. Members of the class of 2013 who have chosen to serve our country in the Army, Marines, Navy, and Air Force have received their commissions this morning. There will be a joint commissioning ceremony for all of them later this afternoon. When you see our graduating students in uniform today, I hope you will congratulate them and thank them for their willingness to serve our country. Finally, I invite everyone here to join me after this ceremony for a reception upstairs on the suite level and the entry level of the arena. I look forward to seeing you there.
Four very short years ago, when we sat on this lawn, or I guess if we were sitting on the lawn, facing the other direction towards the rotunda, we were told that these strangers around us would become our family, and that though time would fly by, we would build great relationships and have incredible experiences with these people. On behalf of the class of 2013, I would like to extend my gratitude to some of the people that have helped us along the way. Thank you to the wonderful faculty and staff at Peabody Hall. You were right there from the start, reading through all our applications and putting our acceptance letters in big envelopes. You helped us get here. A special thanks to the people at Dean of Students, especially Dean Loshway and Dean Groves, for always being visible and supporting our events. Thank you, X Lounge, also known as the Glass House. You took our $5 cab fare from our pocket every Thursday, but gave us a brand new experience past the corner. A long overdue thank you to those who cleaned up after us. From all the plates and glasses we put on the dining hall swivel after we finished eating, to the trash that we dumped in the hundreds of trash cans around grounds, thank you. A thank you also to facilities management. Our grounds wouldn't be the most beautiful school in the world without the hard work you put in each and every day. Thank you, Forbes, ABC, BuzzFeed, Playboy, and the other publications that spotlighted our school's achievements in your rankings. It's a lot of thank yous, so we might also have to hold applause till then. But you reassured us that we were the best school in the world. Thank you to Cavman and the Cavalier Marching Band. You helped us cheer for our sports teams at home and followed them as they were away. You helped carry the true spirit of the university with our athletes wherever they went. Next, for all your hard work running your show on Comedy Central and keeping us up to date with the real news, thank you, Jon Stewart. No, but really, thank you, Mr. Colbert. You make our class that much more special with your presence today. A very grateful thank you also to the UVA Police Department. You kept us safe and up to date with any unfortunate events and gave us advice on how to handle various situations. We know that you're out there day and night looking out for our safety. Thank you, Tuesday nights. Another excuse to escape Alderman and head to the corner. Whether it was Pint Night at Mellow, Electric Tuesdays with DJ Jerv at Trinity, or honestly, both, you allowed us to celebrate our 4th year on 4 nights of the week instead of 3. Thank you to the alumni of the University of Virginia. Your guidance, advice, and love for the students at this school set an example for us to follow. We're excited to join you tomorrow, and we promise, as graduates, to pay it forward to the next line of lucky students who will experience this special place. Our most sincere thank you goes to the faculty, administrators, and staff at this university. You challenged us to think deeper, inspired us to work harder, and made sure we are proud of our accomplishments every step of the way. You have given us the tools to go out into the real world with confidence and passion, and we owe you for that. A special thank you also to President Sullivan. You stood your ground in tough times and have continuously put your heart into the university. Now, if I could have all the families, parents, siblings to stand up for this one. Our most grateful thank you to everyone standing. Though our phone calls home may have decreased since our first year days, on behalf of the graduates, we want to say that we love you all very much, and we wanted to thank you for everything that you do. You shaped us to be who we are today and gave us this opportunity to study at this magical place. For all this and more, we will be forever grateful. Finally, thank you to the class of 2013. We're here. We were classmates, hallmates, suitemates, roommates, teammates, just mates, best friends, and more. 4 years ago, we were strangers. Now we're family. Through all the tough times and the best, we stood by each other's sides and supported each other. We created experiences with each other that we'll never forget, and though we are parting ways tomorrow, we will always cherish the friendships that we made here for the rest of our lives. We owe it to ourselves for being the best class in the history of the University of Virginia. So here's to us, and thank you for an amazing 4 years. And for the 13th time in the last 3 minutes, thank you and congratulations again.
Good morning, class of 2013. My name is Priya Vitani, and as class of 2013 graduation chair, I have the privilege of standing between you and Stephen Colbert. Luckily for me, the who part of this introduction is pretty easy. Many of you already know that Stephen Colbert is the host, co-writer, and executive producer of Comedy Central's award-winning series, The Colbert Report, and that Mr. Colbert's wife, Evelyn, or Evie Colbert, is a 1985 alumna of the College of Arts and Sciences at U.Va. So, let me spare you the typical... So, let me spare you the typical life story introduction and quickly do this instead. Here are the 5 things you might not but should know about Stephen Colbert, according to the most reliable source there is, IMDb. Number 1, Stephen Colbert's trademarks are his incisive and hilarious parodies of well-known political and media figures, deliverance of comical lines of dialogue with complete seriousness and sincerity, and most importantly, his glasses. Number 2, like myself, Stephen Colbert is a huge Lord of the Rings fan, and supposedly has an encyclopedic knowledge of the series. We'll have to talk later, Mr. Colbert. Number 3, in 2005, the American Dialect Society declared the word truthiness, coined by Mr. Colbert, as Word of the Year. That is impressive. I didn't even know we had an American Dialect Society. The word truthiness refers to the quality of preferring concepts or facts one wishes or believes to be true, rather than concepts or facts known to be true. Number 4, in 2007, Ben & Jerry's unveiled a new ice cream flavor in honor of Mr. Colbert called Stephen Colbert's Americone Dream. Mr. Colbert donates proceeds from the sale of Americone Dream to support charities of concern to Colbert. IMDb. In addition to an ice cream, Stephen Colbert also has the privilege of having a spider and the treadmill for the International Space Station named after him. Number 5, and in my opinion, most impressive, Stephen Colbert can fold his right ear inside out and pop it out when he squints his eye. Who knows? Maybe we'll get to see it. Mr. Colbert. I missed that one. Mr. Colbert, on behalf of the class of 2013 and the University of Virginia, I would like to thank you for speaking today. How excited are we to have him here? Now, Mr. Colbert, I heard it was your birthday this past Monday. We would also like to thank you for spending your birthday weekend with us. If your plans for later today include one of UVA's most cherished and time-honored traditions, like EP told us about earlier, and donning your birthday suit on the lawn, please remember it's down the lawn and back, and then a good night, Mr. Jefferson. But please be careful on the grass because it might be slippery. And without further ado, the moment we've all been waiting for, Mr. Stephen Colbert.
Good morning. I'm Stephen Colbert, and I want to thank the class of 2013 for inviting me here today. Thank you very much. It's an honor. And I have to say, this is way more than I expected. I would have done it for free. This is incredibly generous. Thank you. Now, before we get started, just one little bit of business. Out of courtesy, if anyone has a cell phone, please take a moment to make sure that it is turned on. I wouldn't want any of you to miss a text or a tweet while I'm giving my speech. In fact, you might want to take a minute right now, if you've got the Twitter app, take a moment right now and follow my Twitter feed. It's at Stephen at Home. That's StephenAthome, at Stephen at Home, just in case I tweet anything during the speech. And now then, it is an honor to be speaking at your 2013 Valedictory Exercises. I believe that means I am this year's valedictorian. And I am as shocked as you are, because I didn't make it to many classes this year. You guys must have really tanked your finals. Thank you for that. I'd also like to thank President Teresa Sullivan. Thank you very much, President Sullivan. You are way better than that last president, Teresa Sullivan. She was terrible. I am so glad they cut her loose. Good riddance, I say. No, you are clearly the woman for this job. I'd also like to thank the Board of Visitors, of course. That name goes all the way back to your founder, Thomas Jefferson, who was just trying to put the local Indians at ease. Just visiting should be going home any century now. And that's just one of the many unique, dignified terms that set UVA apart from other universities. Instead of freshmen, you have first years. Instead of a quad, you call it a lawn. Instead of saying we are members of a proud educational tradition dating back to our nation's founders, you say wahoo-wah. Which begs the eternal question, wahoo-why? Now, I went to Hampton-Sydney College. Thank you. Thank you. Please sit down. And I used to come up here as much as I could because you had these things back then, I'm not sure what you call them now, girls. We did not have those at Hampton-Sydney. And when I could not find one of those here, I would head over to the White Spot to get a grills with to fill the void in my heart. Literally, my cardiologist recently found one lodged in there. And early this morning, I had a little tour around your beautiful campus, and I just asked myself, why are you leaving? You know what it's like out there, right? Plus, this could be the most spectacular place you will ever live. It is the only campus in America that has been designated a UNESCO World Heritage Site. I believe that means if you try to carve your name into a desk, UN will send in ground troops. And you're not going to top these living conditions unless your post-college plan involves subletting the Taj Mahal. And I just want to say the students at UVA are incredible. The men are all gentlemen, and the women are all the most beautiful and intelligent in the world. And I'm not saying that because I dated a UVA girl, I'm saying that because I married her. You are graduating from one of the most highly ranked universities in the nation. U.S. News and World Report named you the #2 public university. Princeton Review named you the #1 best value of a public college, especially for those of you who showed the initiative to be born in Virginia. Let's give it up, a round of applause for those paying out-of-state tuition, shall we? Because without those people, tomorrow, instead of wearing gowns and mortarboards, you'd be graduating in ponchos made of hefty bags with used pizza boxes on your head. But as has been stated before, the most impressive ranking of all has got to be Playboy, once again naming you the #1 party school in America. Now, to be clear, I only read Playboy for the rankings. But I am not surprised by this honor because I have seen you in action. When I used to visit back in the day, I spent a fair amount of time at the Phi Cap House, which at the time had no doors because apparently they kept getting partied off the hinges. And I won't go into more about those days because I do not remember them. And you know this is an impressive institution because it rejected my application. Yes. In the spring of 1984, I applied as a transfer student. And at the time, you could send your essay in after the rest of the application. Well, apparently the admissions board took issue with the content of my essay, which was none because I never sent it. So today, President Sullivan, I would like to submit this address as my essay. And since this is a smart school, let me just toss in some SAT words. Syzygy, heterodox, Benedict Cumberbatch. Am I in? Yes, I know I'm not a Virginia resident. But perhaps the real reason that UVA is so great is that it trusts its students. You have the nation's oldest student-run honor code. Say it with me. On my honor, I pledge that I have neither given nor received help on this assignment, so help me Adderall. But my favorite thing about UVA has got to be your secret societies. That's sexy. You got the Z's, you got, I think, the Illuminati and the Masons and SHIELD. I think some of you are members of SHIELDs. But of course, the most secretive of all is the Seven Society. Nobody knows who's in it. I'm not going to say that I'm a seven. I'm not going to say that I'm not a seven. I'm just going to say, Evige Blumenkraften, Benedict Cumberbatchen. Now I have to have all of you killed. Now, of course, many of you already know this, but for the uninitiated, let me explain. When a member of the seven dies, a wreath of black magnolia shaped like a seven appears at their grave. And the university chapel chimes at 7-second intervals on the 7th dissonant chord at 7 past the hours. All the group's donations contain the number 7, like it's $777,777.77 grant to fund the Meade Endowment. So it appears that the way you qualify for the sevens is by having crippling OCD. And you know what's good for that? Adderall. Now, what is not a secret is the list of distinguished UVA alums, which is as impressive as it was easy to copy and paste from Wikipedia. You got Woodrow Wilson, Robert Kennedy, Janet Napolitano, Katie Couric, Tina Fey, the painter Georgia O'Keeffe. I love her paintings. They remind me of something I rarely saw at Hampton Sydney. And of course, Edgar Allan Poe, or as his roommates called him, Creepy Eddie. I don't understand why Lenore couldn't have just given him a pity date, or just said, I'm busy Saturday night. She didn't have to say nevermore. Like most students, young Mr. Poe had a way of signaling to his roommates if he had a date over. He would hang a sock on the door or bury a still beating heart under the floorboards, whichever he had handy. But of course, the greatest figure associated with UVA is your founder, Thomas Jefferson, TJ. Prez Tommy Jeff, the freckly anti-federalist, Louisiana Purchie, old Bible slicer. Or as most Americans know him, the inventor of the 6-inch wooden cipher wheel. In founding this great institution, Jefferson wrote, "We wish to establish in the upper country of Virginia a university on a plan so broad and liberal and modern as to be a temptation to the youth of other states to come and drink the cup of knowledge and fraternize with us. And according to Playboy, you have lived up to that vision." But there's one thing about Jefferson that I take issue with, and it's this: the scope of his beliefs was too broad. Jefferson's hard to nail down. These days, we like politicians to fit into neat categories. You are either a conservative or you are a liberal. But not Jefferson. He's not like that. No matter what your political leanings, you can find something he said that backs it up. If you don't trust the financial industry, he said, "I believe that banking institutions are more dangerous to our liberties than standing armies." If you're suspicious of the federal overreach, he said, "When the government fears the people, there is liberty. When the people fear the government, there is tyranny." If you question religion, he wrote, "In every country and in every age, the priest has been hostile to liberty." And if you're an advocate of fiscal austerity, he said, "I'm gonna pop some tags, only got $20 in my pocket. I'm a huntin', looking for a come up. This is..." I'm not saying that on camera. That, of course, was in a letter to Secretary of State Ryan Lewis. Also, on the one hand, in Jefferson's public life as a founding father, we often see him as the embodiment of the white male patriarchy. But in his private life, he was known for, shall we say, embracing diversity. Very affirmative in his actions. Am I right? I am right. They did the DNA tests. I'm right on that one. You know what? I'm not going to say any more on that. You've heard too much about that in the past. Instead, I'll just tweet it. Okay, there it goes. All right. Now, while that's arriving on all of your phones right now, I'm going to take this opportunity to move on to the advice section of the speech. If you young folks will take advice from anyone, after all, I don't know if you've seen it, this week's Time magazine called you lazy, entitled narcissists who are part of the me generation. So self-obsessed, tweeting your Vines, hashtagging your Spotifys, and Snapchatting your YOLOs. Your generation needs everything to be about you, and that's very upsetting to us baby boomers because self-absorption is kind of our thing. We're the original me generation. We made the last 50 years all about us. We took all the money. We soaked up all the government services, and we've deep-fried nearly everything in the ocean. It may seem that all that's left for you is unpaid internships, Monday to Tuesday mail delivery, and thanks to global warming, soon semester at sea will mean sailing the coast of Ohio. Now, in our defense, in my generation's defense, how were we supposed to know that you were coming? We thought it went like this: every successive generation of mankind, and then us. Ta-da! Roll credits. But while we may be leaving you with an economy with fewer job opportunities for the new graduate to slip into, while traditional paths may seem harder to find, that also means that you may learn sooner than most generations the hard lesson that you must always make the path for yourself. There is no secret society out there that will tap you on the shoulder one night and show you the way. Because the true secret is your life will not be defined by the society that we have left you. To paraphrase Robert Bolt, society has no more idea of what you are than you do, because ultimately it has only your brains to think with. Every generation must define itself, and so make the world that suits itself. So, if you must find your own path, and we have left you no easy path, then decide now to choose the hard path that leads to the life and the world that you want. And don't worry, if we don't approve of your choices. In our benign self-absorption, I believe we have given you a gift, a particular form of independence, because you do not owe the previous generation anything. Thanks to us, you owe it to the Chinese. So have the courage to follow the example of your founder, Thomas Jefferson, the greatest mind of that most daring generation, to create something new for yourselves and lay its foundation on such principles and organizing its powers in such form as to you shall seem most likely to affect your safety and happiness. And know that though he wrote these words 237 years ago, that this generation, no less than his generation, has their own opportunity to recognize and seize that moment when, in the course of human events, it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the bands that have connected them with another and assume among the powers of the earth your separate and equal station, and for the support of this, mutually pledge to each other your lives, your fortune, and your sacred honor. If anyone can do this, it is the graduates of the university that Jefferson founded. You are his intellectual heirs. In fact, some of you may be his actual heirs. We're still testing the DNA. So thank you for this honor, and congratulations to the class of 2013, Wahoo Wah.
Thank you, Mr. Colbert, for joining us today, making us laugh, and sharing insightful advice for us about how we should approach what we should do after graduation. Preparing my remarks for today was unexpectedly difficult. To start, there was the challenge of following Mr. Colbert and the corresponding impossibility that I would even seem remotely funny at this point. Thank you for the laugh. And then there was the fact that this is supposed to be a farewell address, slightly ironic and awkward given the fact that everyone's preparing to leave, and I'm technically going to be here for one more year. Shout out to Batten, though. But what I found most challenging was the expectation that I'm to reflect on our class's experience and somehow encapsulate how our class thinks or feels about graduation. And as I spent the last couple of weeks reflecting on this challenge, I came to the conclusion that I simply can't do that. It would be naive and presumptuous to suggest that I can speak to how our class feels about this weekend, about our overall experience. I barely know how I feel about walking down the lawn tomorrow morning, hopefully, let alone how the nearly 3,800 of you feel about reaching this milestone in our education. In reflecting on our time on grounds, we must acknowledge that there has not been a singular student experience, and there is subsequently no designated path we must follow after graduating. After the chaos that was moving weekend, and not long after we unpacked our belongings and plugged in our box fans, some of us quickly found our niche in this space. We had no or minimal problems transitioning into college life, knew exactly what we wanted to study, were immediately plugged into the university culture, and have loved and cherished every minute of our experience here. Some of us, on the other hand, though still enjoying our time here at U.Va, struggled with the transition into college life and found our time here at Mr. Jefferson's University to be a challenging experience. There are those of us who transferred to the university from another institution. The challenges of jumping in midstream while everyone else had this great first-year experience where they established their core group of friends, their major, their extracurricular activities, and where they were living. If we matriculated here as first years, these may be things we simply took for granted. Yet even in the face of what can be a lonely transition, those of us who transferred to this space successfully overcame those challenges, contributing to the growth of the university all the same. There are those of us who are out-of-staters or international students who traveled hundreds, maybe thousands of miles to attend UVA, where we were never really the most outspoken or opinionated individuals, let alone the social butterflies of a group. But we have nonetheless stepped into our own, confidently finding our voice, our motivating passions, and sense of purpose. Some of us were student athletes whose four-year experience contrasted the perceived life of an athlete. While there was the glamour of representing UVA on the field or on the court, there was also the challenge of waking up at 4:30 for 5:30 practice, taking a 3-hour exam after you were dead exhausted from just playing a game, or having to keep up with class lectures or class readings when you were about to spend 4 out of the next 5 days on the road. Some of us, even after surviving the awkwardness of first and second year, never really found our niche at the university. The mental and physical energy required to balance 30 to 40-hour work schedules with the full academic load didn't allow the luxury to live the life of the over-involved UVA student. Though some of us never felt comfortable in this space, we have forced our heart and nerve and sinew to serve their turn long after they were gone, as Rudyard Kipling vividly describes in his poem If, and are therefore just as excited about reaching this momentous occasion. And then there were those of us who came here, and despite our great success in high school, failed time and time again. More than once, we failed our exams or our papers. More than once, we failed to get into CIOs. And more than once, we failed to live up to the high expectations we set at the start. However, we must remember that it is in these moments of failure that we were presented with invaluable learning experiences. There are those of us who will be going on to study medicine at Duke, law at Columbia, African American studies at Brown. Others will be going on to do consulting at McKinsey or Deloitte, accounting at Ernst & Young, or banking on Wall Street. Some of us are taking the year off to travel around the country or around the world. Others will be joining Teach for America, the Peace Corps, or Virginia College Advisors. Some of us are preparing for that long and daunting move back into our parents' house, while others are still left pondering the question, what am I going to do next? The fact that we have all had different experiences and are preparing to pursue different paths in life begs the question, what are we as a class saying farewell to? We are saying farewell to the construction at South Lawn, New Cabell, Newcomb, Ruffner. The list just seemed to grow day by day. We're saying goodbye to all-nighters in Clemens and the rabid fox that lived in Lambeth. We're saying goodbye to stink bugs that lived in old dorms and the new hotels they call dorms that we just never got a chance to live in. We're saying goodbye to that late night party on rugby or at the bar that we just can't seem to remember. We are saying goodbye to Snowpocalypse Part 1 and 2, Mount Barracks, and the days of class that were canceled because of Hurricane Sandy. We're saying goodbye to those tumultuous days of June and the litany of listservs that we wish we had never signed up for. We're saying goodbye to the Friday discussion that we never wanted to take in the first place, and that 8 a.m. class that left us asking why each and every morning. But we are not saying farewell to the friends that we have made over the course of our time here. We are not saying farewell to the mentors we have found in the form of professors, advisors, and administrators. We are not saying farewell to the hours we spent stoking our intellectual curiosity or the lessons in leadership we learned through our practice of student self-governance. While we are saying farewell to the physical space that is the University of Virginia, we are not and will not say farewell to the relationships we started here, the lessons we learned here, or the memories we shared here, as these are the things that have enriched our experience in this space. It is with this perspective that we can make our walk down the lawn tomorrow morning, or JPJ, with a sense of fulfillment and satisfaction about our time at the university, excited about the dreams and unknown experiences that the future has in store for us. On behalf of the class of 2013 fourth-year trustees, thank you for joining us for today's valedictory exercises. I hope you all will join us for the class party tonight at Alumni Hall from 9 p.m. to midnight. To my peers, I wish you nothing but happiness and fulfillment in your future endeavors. Thank you once again, and enjoy the rest of Final Exercises weekend.